Hello my dear class 10 students, welcome back to Diksha Vedantu. After completing so many chapters of SST, we are back with the chapter Federalism. Yes, the first chapter of civics was power sharing, that can be considered as a teaser of this chapter. And today we are going to deal the second chapter of civics, that is federalism. So now what is federalism? What are the features of federalism? Is India a federal country or not? Does federalism means division of powers or separation of power? This is what you are going to get clear by this lecture of mine. I just want to welcome you on Diksha Vedantu and want to tell you that yes, India is a very diverse nation. Right? To administer such a diverse nation and keep the unity intact is very difficult. Okay, so in that difficult times, how we are dealing with the democratic country, this is all about, and federalism is one of the important feature of Indian democracy. Okay, so this is our story what we are going to deal in this chapter. I just want to tell you that we have already uploaded videos with the chapters which are one short explanation for power sharing, nationalism in Europe. Then we have completed resource and development and then development on your YouTube channel Diksha Vedantu. Do you know guys that we are teaching here in English? Everything to you will be taught in English because this is what you need right now, because you are going to write your exam in English. You just need to do one thing, that is to subscribe the YouTube channel to get notified whenever the video is being uploaded. To grab that opportunity, you just need to hit the subscribe button. Do it fast if not yet done. Basically, talking about federalism, I want to give you a quick recap of the chapter power sharing what we have already studied. Okay, in that power sharing we have seen two cases. One was the case of Belgium and the other was the case of Sri Lanka. Okay, Belgium was a country which adopted the principle of power sharing in its democratic world. However, Sri Lanka has not accepted that, right? In that respect, we have seen that Sri Lanka faced a civil crisis, civil war for so many years. However, Belgium lived peacefully and the people were very happy. The country became headquarter of European Union and many other international groups as well. So one thing we need to know that Belgium has adopted some measures in the year 1993 and changed the structure of its government. Right? Prior to this 1993, the form of government in Belgium was unitary form of government, and after 1993, it was federal form of government. So basically, we need to understand here that what is the difference between the two. Right? Now I want to make you clear, beta. This is very important to understand because this is just the starting. This is the introduction, because if a country is federal, right? If a country is federal, it will share power. Okay? And if the country is not federal, then which type of government they are following? So they are following unitary form of government. The difference between the two is such that, get it clear, the difference between the two is such that in unitary form of government, there will be only one level of government. Okay, in unitary form of government, there will be only one level of government, like it used to be in Belgium. Before 1993, there was only central government, okay? There was only one single government in Brussels, central government, okay? Which has all the powers. It doesn't mean that the state government was not in existence. They were in existence, but they were not shared the power. If you remember the points of accommodation of Belgium, you will see that in Belgium, what they have done, the central government shared its power with the state government. Do you remember it? The central government shared its power with the state government so that state government will no longer be dependent on the central government. And this is what known as federalism. Come here. Under the unitary government, either there is only one level of government or the state government are the subunits or subordinate to the central government. Okay, they do not have any power. Whereas in federalism, the power is divided between central unit and its various constituents unit. It can be state government or local government. Did you get the point? What they have done? They have divided their power between central government and state government. This is what makes it a federal form of government. Okay? In unitary government, the central government has power to pass on orders to the provincial or local government. Okay, basically the central government is passing the orders to the state government that you need to do only this. Okay, so this is how they become subordinate. But now in federal form of government, they cannot order the state to do something. Okay, they cannot have the power, they do not have the power to do anything. Okay, this is it. The state government do not have power of its own. It is somewhere similar. However, here the state government has the power. Like for an example, the government of Karnataka, the government of Tamil Nadu, do they have power of work? Yes. So they also have power of its own. In the world, if we see which countries are unitary form of government, so it is China. Okay, it is Pakistan. Okay, you have seen in class 9th, na? You might have seen in class 9, according to that structure, you can get in point why they are adopting this unitary form of government. Then Pakistan, United Kingdoms. Okay, United Kingdoms is all because they wanted their English parliament to be powerful than anything in the world. Okay, same as with Japan and Saudi Arabia. But when we talk about federal country, the first country which adopted federalism was USA, because it is first country to be democratic as well. So it is USA, Canada, Brazil, Russia and India. I have given you 5 examples. Okay, I want you to at least mug up 3 examples, because this question will come in 3 markers. Okay, this question will come as a 3-marker question that write the difference between federal form of government and unitary form of government. Now pay attention, write 3 points and then example. Again I am saying write 3 points and then the example, because example is not included as a point. Okay, so now unitary and federal, we got the difference between the two. Again, I want to make you clear what is federalism. What is federalism? So if I talk about federalism, federalism means that when power is shared, mark my word, when power is shared among 2 or more than 2 levels of government. When power is shared among 2 or more than 2 levels of government, like I want to tell you, there are some countries which have only 2 levels of government, central government and then state government. But there are countries which have more than 2 levels of government, center, state and then local. So whenever the power is shared in us by a central authority among its constituent unit, that is known as, this is known as what? Federalism. Okay, did you get this point? Now what is the features of federalism? I want this page of my PPT be your snap in your mind. Okay, this should be a snap in your mind, because this is very favorite topic of CBSE. Okay, whenever I am saying it is favorite topic of CBSE, just mug it thoroughly, because very important it is. Federalism features, consider it as a storyline. Okay, I'm just going to tell you a story and you need to learn it, because first point here is there are 2 or more than 2 levels or tier of government. This is what federalism is, having 2 or more than 2 levels of government. Moving further, both this, all of these level of government have a different jurisdiction. Okay, but they governs the same citizen. Now what is this? I want to tell you, like you living in your place Bangalore. For an example, you are living in Bangalore, right? You are living in a state Karnataka and you are living in a country India. For an example, central government has just presented a law, passed a law for whole nation, right? Will it imply on you? Yes. Okay. State government of Karnataka has amplified or adopted a law for your examination, a change in examination or sample paper or etc. Will that imply on you? Yes. You living in Bangalore, the municipal council of this area has adopted some measures for cleaning, for sewage facilities, etc. and you need to follow them. So now see, you being the citizen of India, Karnataka and Bangalore, okay, you are governed by all the levels of government and you remain the same citizen. So get the point that different tiers of government governs the same citizen, okay, but each tier has its own jurisdiction, okay, has its own jurisdiction. Now what does this word jurisdiction means? It has two meaning. That jurisdiction consists of two meaning. One is what is the work and in which area the work will imply. For an example, to clean the streets is the work of municipal council. Okay, the municipal council of Bangalore is limited to the area of Bangalore. Get the point? Okay, the state government of Karnataka has the power of police, like how the police will work in the state, okay, but that police will be the police of Karnataka. So what is the work and in which area they will be working, the government, okay. So each tier has its own jurisdiction in specific matters of legislation to make the law, to imply taxes and to administer that area. Get the point? Again, there are two or more than two tiers of government. Okay, each tier govern the same citizens, but they have their own jurisdiction in the matter of legislation, taxation and administration. Now, where are they specified? Where are these matters specified? So these jurisdiction for the respective levels are specified in the Indian Constitution. They are specified in the Indian Constitution. Okay, and this becomes a fundamental provision of Indian Constitution. Like there are certain work to be done by central government, some done by state government and some by local government. Okay, this is a fundamental structure by which India is working. Do you think that it can be changed so easily? No, it cannot be changed unilaterally. What do you mean by unilaterally? That it cannot be changed by a single level. Like central government one day thought that I should have more power, so what I can do? I can take some powers from state government, right? Is it possible? No. Because it cannot change unilaterally. It should be changed only when it is accepted by both the levels of government. That means both the central and the state government. Okay. So this fundamental provision cannot be changed unilaterally. Right? If there is dispute or there is problem interpreting the Constitution, there is any problem in understanding the Constitution and this fundamental division, you will directly reach to the court and the highest court. Okay, you will reach to the Supreme Court and understand and interpret the Constitution. The most important point is that whenever the central government is working, whenever the state government is working, and same with the local government, they need money. Okay, and for money, the very important point is revenue collected by the government. Okay, which government will be collecting which type of taxes, how many taxes is also mentioned in the Constitution. So basically the sources of revenue for each level of government are clearly specified to ensure its financial autonomy. Okay, so this is what makes basically federalism and features of federalism. Did you get this point? And this is a 5-marker question I have presented in front of you. The 6 points, you just need to learn them right now. Stop the video, take pen, paper, recall the points. Again I am saying stop the video. Just write the points right now because this is very important question. Okay, The next one is, what is dual objective of federalism? Again, a 2-marker question asked many a times. What are the dual objective of federalism? Okay. So by doing or adopting federalism in the democratic structure, what they are doing is they safeguard and promote unity of the nation. What they do, they safeguard and promote unity of the nation, like it was done in Belgium. When central government gave power to state government, they were satisfied that we also have power. For an example, if there is a population where Dutch will be more, there will be region when French are more. So it is balanced. Their state government is also having power and the others also. So it brings unity to the nation, because nation consists of regional diversity. Okay, and if not accommodated, it will break down into different regions, further resulting into different nations. Okay, so we need to accommodate regional diversity as well. These are the 2 dual features of federalism. Is it clear? But how can a nation become a federal nation? There might be certain rules, like how India adopted federalism is totally different from the way USA has adopted federalism. It's totally different. So how? Are there any routes to reach it? Yes. There are 2 routes to become a federal country, or 2 routes to form federation. One is coming together of federation and the other is holding together of federation. We will first study about coming together of federation, and then we will move with holding together. So now, coming words itself clear you that certain states are coming by their own will and forming or forging a nation. Okay, so independent states come together on their own to make a bigger unit, to form a bigger unit. Okay, whenever they are coming at their will, now they want their sovereignty. They want that within the nation they should also be supreme and their identity should not be at risk. Okay, so they want to retain their identity. They want to come in that federation only when their identity is also respected. Okay, so basically they pool sovereignty and retain identity in this type of federation, because they are coming at its will. Everyone has equal power. Okay, everyone has equal power, and this is a very strong federal form of government, or what we can say that this is ideal form of federation. Okay, which country has adopted it? So basically it is adopted by USA, Switzerland and Australia. I want to give you a trick to remember this. This is U for USA, S for Switzerland and A for Australia. Just you need to remember USA and you will get all the 3. Get my point? So this is how coming together of federalism is. Moving towards holding together of federalism. Now, we are holding the states, we are holding the regions because we want a federation. So, whenever a large country decides to divide its power, now, what is divided? Powers are divided between the constituent states and the national government. Remember the case of Belgium. Okay, remember the case of Belgium. There were 2 communities, Dutch and French. Okay, there was civil tensions. We can't call it as war. There were civil tensions among them on the basis of languages and regional differences. On the basis of languages and regional differences. So, if not accommodated, they would be divided into 2 regions. Okay, on the basis of this language. But what they have done, they shared power with both the communities. Now mark my word, by sharing powers among the constituent unit, central unit and the states. So this is what holding together. We have holded the states to not go anywhere by sharing some powers with them. Okay, like central government tends to be more powerful, but yes, in this type of structure the central government is more powerful in comparison to state government. We can understand this point with the help of India as an example. Like if we talk about India, we know the story of Jammu Kashmir, okay? Prior when it was a state, now it is divided into two union territories, if you know, Ladakh and Jammu. Prior, when we want to merge it with India, right, there were certain conditions which make it difficult to merge it with India. What we have done? We have shared power with Jammu Kashmir to accommodate it with India because it was part of India. Getting my point? Like this is what is done in India's type of federal structure. Okay, so one is coming together of federation, the other is holding together. The example of holding together India, very first Belgium and then Spain. Okay, India, Belgium and then Spain. Okay, IBS, remember it as IBS. So this is how we have completed one more topic, that what are the routes through which federation can be achieved. For how much mark this question can come? Again, it is a 3-marker question. We can write all these points here. Okay, routes through which how federation can be adopted. Now what makes India a federal country? Like look, whenever we are studying anything, either it's in maths, either it is in science, before the practical approach we read the theory. Okay, this is what we have done in this chapter. Before moving to practicality where India is a federal country or not, we have understood its theory, that what is federalism, what are the features of federalism, and what are the ways through which a country can be made a federal country. Okay, now what makes India as federal country? If I say that India is a not federal country, right, you can't deny me, because nowhere it is written that India is a federal country. In our constitution of India, nowhere it is written that India is a federal country. Isn't it strange, beta? Yes, it is. It is. Isn't that strange? Our constitution makers not know about federalism, or they wish to avoid talking about them. What do you think? They wish to avoid talking about them? No. Let me tell you one very important point, that we know that our Indian constitution has so many articles. Okay, the first article of our Indian constitution says India, that is Bharat, shall be union of states. See what we have adopted. India, that is Bharat, shall be union of states. Now here, when our constitution makers were writing the constitution, they have not opted for writing federation of states. Okay, we are a federal country, then why not we are writing it as a federation of states? Why we are choosing it as union of states? Because, right, because do we follow the features of federalism? Do we have two or more than two levels of government? Yes. Does central government in India share its power with the state government? Yes. It clearly states that India is a federal country. Then why not the constitution makers has mentioned it and rather has chosen union of states? Because beta, this federation term, okay, this term federation comes with one right. And that right is right to secede away. And do you know what is secede away? The right to separate away. Like for an example, if Gujarat wants to get separate from India, okay, any other state want to get separated from India, they can do it because they have come according to their will. They have united according to their will. But we know that in India the situation is different. Okay, we are not the result of coming together of federation, rather we are the result of holding together of federation, and we need to hold them. Hence we have not opted the word federation of states, rather we have choose what? Union of states. Did you get my point? Okay, so yes, What makes India a federal country? Now the question is, if we have not chosen the word, then what makes India a federal country? This is very, very important, right? In our Indian constitution, there are so many provisions which clearly tells us that yes, India is a federal country. And one such provision is such that in terms of legislation and in terms of administrations, we have divided it into 3 layers. Okay, we have divided it into 3 layers, that is union government, state government and then the local government. However, initially when the Constitution of India was made, we have only 2 layers of government. Okay. In 1951, in the Constitution, there were 2 layers of government, central government and state government, according to which we have allotted them the work. Okay, and that work is as like this, as list. It is written in the form of list. For an example, the first one here is union list. Pay attention. The first one here is union list. Now, what is union list? The list includes subjects of national importance. The list includes the subject of national importance, that is like important for the whole nation. For an example, defense of the country, foreign affairs, banking, communications, currency. All these are the subjects of national importance, and the laws on this subject should be made by union government only. It can be only made by the union government. So who has the power to legislate on the matters of union list? It is the central government. Did you get this point? I want to make more clear to you. For an example, there is a word currency here. There is a subject, what? Currency here, right? If currency should not be included in central list or union list, let us assume that it is a part of state list. What would have happened? In India, all the states of India may have their own currency. For an example, MP, Madhya Pradesh should have their currency. Karnataka should have its own currency. Getting my point? So there are subjects of common interest for whole nation. Okay, they are listed in the union list. Who can make the law? Central government. Now, coming to the next list, the subject of state important, okay, or a regional important subjects, they are listed in the state list. For an example, police. We call it police of Karnataka, police of Tamil Nadu. We don't call it police of India. Okay, rather what we call Army of India, Indian Army. Okay, but here we call it as police of Karnataka, police of Tamil Nadu, Kerala, etc. Because police subject lie in the state list. Other than police, we have trade, commerce, agriculture and irrigation. See, agriculture is different for different states, right? Is it same for all the states? No. So this is the reason we have put it in the state list, and the state government has the power to make laws on this subject. Okay, who has the power to make laws on this subject? The state government. Okay, all the subjects are mentioned in the state list now. But in the country, there might be some subjects in which both can legislate, right? There might be some subjects, yes, and this is known as concurrent list. This is known as concurrent list. Here there are subjects which are of common interest, that means for union government as well as for the state government. For an example, education. For an example, education. Then forest, trade, marriage, adoption, succession. So here both the union and the state government can make the law. Both the union and the state government can make the law. Like you might be thinking, ma'am, there might be chances when there is a clash between the union laws and the state laws. Yes. For an example, there is a subject education, right? Union government, central government made one policy and some state government has made some policy which is not similar some way. So there might a clash occur. Yes. Whenever such clash occurs, union law prevails. Union law prevails because we have adopted which type of federation? We have adopted the federation, that is holding together, in which central government is more powerful than the state government. Hope it is clear to you. But now, do you think that there are certain matters which might have occurred after making of Indian Constitution? For an example, was the internet there in 1951? No. Was AI there in 1951? No. But we know that laws can be made on this subject. What about them? So they have considered such type of subjects as residuary subjects. Which type of subjects? Residuary, okay, the remaining one. And who has the right to make laws on that subject? That is Union government. That is Union government. So I'm just giving you a quick recall of the topic what we have studied right now, because you might be wondering, ma'am, what has just happened, right? What makes India a federal country? Okay, so we have seen that in Constitution the fundamental provision is there which make administration easier and divided. Okay, it makes administration easier and divided. For an example, we have union list. Okay, who makes the law in this union list? So it is central government which makes the law. Okay, what are the subjects in this list? All the subjects that are of national importance. That are of national importance. For an example, now see how we have to write. For an example, defense of India. Okay, currency of India, etc. Moving to the second one, that is state list. Who makes the law? State government makes the law. See how shortly I am writing everything. What are the subjects? Subjects are of regional importance. Example, police. Okay, agriculture, irrigation, etc. Moving to the next one, that is concurrent list. Who makes the law? Both central and state government. What are the subjects? Subject of common interest. Example, very important, do not forget to write education. Okay, other than education you can write marriage, adoption, succession. Okay, and the most important is residuary list. Residuary list. Okay, the subject which was not added earlier. For an example, internet, IT, communication. Okay, ITC. And these are the subject on which laws will be made by the union government. Now here you can add one more point, that if any clashes occur between the central government and state government in terms of concurrent list, who will prevail? The union government will prevail. This is how you need to write this answer. What makes India a federal country? Is it clear to you? Now look at this map. This is map of India from the year 1947. Yes, like this is the map of India after the year India got independent. Okay, what we have to focus on this map is that India being a diverse nation, right? It was so challenging for our constitution makers to accommodate this diversity. Okay, because we have so many languages, we have so many culture, traditions. We know that the administration prior to United India, it was quite different from all the regions also. So to bring them all together, it was a task for our constitutional makers. Up till now, what we have read, what make India a federal country? It means that what are the features of federalism that we have written in our constitution or adopted in our constitution. But you know that, na? Like if you are studying maths, right? If you just go to the theory, it is not okay. Rather, we need to practice it in real. Similarly, when we have written that federal features in our constitution, there will be time come that when we have to practice that federalism, and it was so near to us. Now, see this India where you can see different regions. For an example, this is Gujarat. Right, present day state Gujarat was merged with this Bombay. This was one princely state of that time. Okay, this was central India. See, this was united province. This was Rajputana, where princely rulers were ruling. You can see that this was central province. This was also the part of central province. Like see Hyderabad, this is Odisha, Mysore region. So now we know that this not defined, not bordered India was the result of the freedom struggle. Okay, or what we can say, it was the result of independence. Now with our constitution makers and our leaders, one task came to unite India, right, to administer as effectively. And to administer it effectively, they need to make certain policies. The very first policy was to make the states. For an example, they have to administer the nation effectively, and hence they need to divide it into provinces, or what we can say states today. Right? In that division, it was very difficult, because now how to divide them? Got my point? We know that India is a multilinguistic nation. So many languages are being spoken here. Which language to be opted as a national language? Which to be made as official language? This was a huge task. And how to deal with them? Getting my point? After the provinces will be made, there will be government in that states also. Okay, then how to deal with them? So this is basically how federalism is practiced in India. Got my point? So now the next topic starts here. How is federalism practiced? Because after independence, 3 tasks were there in front of the leaders, that is formation of linguistic states. Okay, I'm writing here linguistic state, that means states on the basis of languages. States on the basis of languages. Get my point? To frame a language policy for the nation, and the last one is the center state policy, which is very, very important, because federalism is only formed when powers are being balanced between the center and the state government. Okay, so we will talk about them one by one, and I want you to understand it thoroughly. The very first and the important task in front of our democratic leaders was the formation of linguistic states. Okay, that means state formed on the basis of language. Now what happened when constitution was in making? All the leaders just get together and they want to decide the question of this linguistic states. Okay, some of the leaders said that yes, we should make states on the basis of language. However, other leaders denied it. No, because if we make states on the basis of language, it will further divide India. Now how? You might be thinking how? Because what happened? We as a India, as a nation, having so many languages, they said that if we will make Gujarat for Gujarati speaking people, we will make Maharashtra for Marathi speaking people. Okay, we make Kerala, okay, we make Tamil Nadu for Tamil speaking people. Then it is clearly evident that we are dividing them. They will feel alienated from a united India. They will never feel that they are united India. But somehow other leaders said that no, this is wrong, because if we have not done this now, they will feel that their regional diversity is not retained. Okay, their sovereignty has not been pulled. Getting my point or not? Their language is not being accepted, rather suppressed. So finally the decision was taken that yes, we will make the states on the basis of language. But do you think that might be so easy? No. In 1947, the boundaries of several old states of India were changed in order to create a new states. Okay, whenever the question raised that we will be forming new states, people within the India started protesting and keeping their demand that the language formation should be done. The state should be based on the basis of language. And do you know guys that Andhra Pradesh, do you know that Andhra Pradesh was the first state of India that was formed on the basis of language. It was the first state of India that was formed on the basis of language because there was a leader, Sri Ramulu, who sat on hunger strike for 58 days. Okay, and after the result, his demand was accepted and Andhra Pradesh was carved out. Okay, Andhra Pradesh was formed, and it was formed in the year 1953, and this is how India got the first state that is made on the basis of language. Now, as Andhra Pradesh was made, other people from different state also started demanding the same thing, that it should be made on the basis of language, and finally the government of India also accepted the fact that yes, we can also frame other states which are needed on the basis of language. Now I want to tell you that all the states of India are not made on the basis of language. Okay, we are going to talk about it, but first see, in 1953 we have seen Andhra Pradesh, okay, formed as the first state on the basis of language. Then government formed a state reorganization commission. As a result of the report presented by the State Reorganization Commission, do you know that in 1956, for the first time, India got its borders with the states. Okay, so for the first time, India had 14 states and 6 union territories. Okay, 14 states and 6 union territories. Can you witness the journey? Like right now, we have seen this India which just got independent with so many provinces and princely states. However, in 1956, it became 14 states and 6 union territories, and this is present India, which is continuously being changed, as we know that some states are being rebordered. Okay, some states are carved out of the already existing states. For an example, Chhattisgarh was carved out of Madhya Pradesh. So we know that continuous changes are being adopted, and right now India has 28 states and 8 union territories. So did you understand that we are practicing federalism every time? Because like our constitution is a living document, right? Why they have declared it as a living document? Because they knew that this democracy will require change by the time. And this is how they have made states on the basis of language. Like you can see Marathi people speaking in Maharashtra, Gujarat for Gujarati people, ठीक है, Odisha for Odissi people. Okay, you can see that Telugu people have Telangana. We can see Karnataka for Kannada, Tamil Nadu for Tamil people, Telugu for Kerala for Telugu people. But there are certain states like Punjabi. For Punjabi it is Punjab, for Haryanvi it is Haryana. But there are certain states like Madhya Pradesh. Okay, it is not formed for the convenience of language, rather it is for administration. Similar like UP, okay, similar like Bihar, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh. So I agree that some of the states are made for linguistic basis, and they have accepted that language should be accepted for the formation of states. So this was the first state. Sometimes question comes here, which is the first test in front of our leaders for democratic India. So what was the first state to form, what was the first test to form the linguistic states? Now the second in front of them is language policy. This was a major problem, because do you know, according to census of 2011, there are more than 1300 languages spoken in India, more than 13 languages. You can see how variety of languages are being changed as we change our border in India, right? So now the debate was heated up in Constituent Assembly. Like whenever I'm talking about this, remember that meeting going in Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. Similarly, in Constituent Assembly, the meeting was heated up because it was the discussion of language. And finally, what was accepted that, okay, every country has their national language. right? So India should also have the one. When they sat and decided what should be the national language for India, because a national language is the language which is spoken by all the nationalists within the territory. Okay, they were sitting and deciding. Then they saw that there is no common language among Indians. Okay, then they have seen the census and evaluated that Hindi is spoken by only 40% of Indians. Did you get the point? Not even majority of them speaks Hindi. Rather, it is 40% of the people in India that speaks Hindi. Other speaks their regional language or regional dialects, right? That too is very less in percent. Now, it is very much clear that Hindi cannot be made the national language of India. However, it was concluded that India will have no national language, because remember the case of Sri Lanka. If we would have adopted Hindi as the national language, the others may have felt alienated like Sri Lankan Tamils were feeling, like the Tamils there were feeling. Get my point? So we have adopted no national language, okay? If someone asks you any day which is the national language in India, just do not give the answer randomly. Okay, now you know that India has no national language, rather we opted for official language. Okay, official language. Now same debate was heated up when we talk about official language, because again the language that is in majority spoken, that is Hindi. Okay, so Hindi was chosen as the official language, but there were many states like South Indian states as well as northeastern states where they demanded that if you are keeping Hindi as official language, then it would be difficult for us to communicate, because all the official work like work in schools, work in colleges, work in law courts, work in legislative councils, everything will be done in Hindi. It will not be convenient for us. Valid though. So they decided that let us choose another language which is spoken in common among Indians, right? So we have, see how tyranny is that we have not found any such language which was commonly spoken in India, and hence we opted for English, because after Hindi the majority of people were speaking English. They knew what? English, right? So considering the fact where India, which is multi-diversity nation, multi-linguistic nation, has adopted some foreign language as the official language, but it is harsh reality. So Hindi and English were chosen as the official language. Other than that, what we have done in our constitution, there are schedules. Okay, in that schedule we have listed other languages which are basically born in India, which has an origin in India and been used since immemorial times. Get my point? So basically we have added in the schedule how many languages? 22 languages, considering the fact that if any student want to give exams in the language other than Hindi and English, they can do it. Office work other than Hindi and English. So basically this 22 languages are spoken in India, right? You might have seen that sessions of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, have you? You might be seeing them wearing some headphones. Okay, what is that headphones needed there? Basically, now there are certain people who do not know Hindi and English. Okay, a person can be a Bengali speaking person can be Kannada speaking or Tamil speaking person. So basically sitting in that assembly, if they do not know the language of speaker over there, so the headphones is provided which converted into their language. So did you get this point? So basically we have 21 language other. Now mark my point, okay? Pay attention that in the statement it is written beside Hindi there are 21 language. So how many languages are there in total in the schedule? There are basically 22 languages in the schedule. And which schedule it is? So it is 8th schedule of our Indian Constitution. So this was the second test in terms of democratic politics in India, and what we have opted, no national language, official language as well as list of scheduled language. Did you get this point? Now come the third topic, that is center-state relations, right? Look, we have India with 28 states and many union territories. Did you get this point? We have 28 states and many union territories. Now the central government and their relations depends upon the politics. It is very clearly evident, right? We know that the states which are same in terms of political party with the center are being more benefited in comparison to others. This is a reality. Or what we talk about reality, this will naturally happen. Okay, so the relation between center and state should be very much balanced to have a democratic India. And in that condition, we have seen that when India was formed, okay, the major role was of Indian National Congress. The major role is that Indian National Congress. And we have seen that in the first, what we can say, election, the party that won at center was Indian National Congress. The party that won in majority of states was Indian National Congress. So for some years, like 20 to 30 years, we have seen that India was dominated by Indian National Congress, both at center level and both at state level. However, we have also seen that gradually regionalism increased, okay, regionalism grew. As a result of what, many regional political parties were also holding themselves in the democratic politics. So we have seen that this is all what changed after 1990. Okay, gradually after some time the regional political parties were also coming in power. Now what happened? Now pay attention here. Now whenever the regional states lie, whenever regional political parties lie, the strength of majority in the center decreases. Okay, the strength which was like, if we talk about it, 45 seats are there in Lok Sabha, right? They were having majority seats at that time. This was decreasing because regional parties were increasing and the votes were diverting. Getting my point? So as a result of that, we have seen the beginning of an era that is known as era of coalition government at the center. Now what is coalition government? Coalition government means that when two or more than two political parties, when two or more than two political parties come together to form government. For an example, now you want a game at your home, like you want some PS at your home, right? You are demanding with your parents that I want it, and they are just rejecting it outrightly. Now you did what? Right? You gathered your siblings' support and started protesting that we will not eat if we will not get the PS. Okay, now the pressure on parents increases or not? Yes. So you came together for that gift. Here political parties are coming together, and what is the gift? The government. Getting my point? So when two or more than two political parties came together to form a government, this is known as coalition government, and we have seen so many coalitions since here, like NDA coalition, National Democratic Alliance, UPA, United Provincial Alliance, okay? Sorry, it's United Progressive Alliance, my bad. So basically the center-state relation is also being changed after 1990. If the question comes that what changed in Indian politics after 1990, so you need to tell that there was an era of coalition government, and what do you mean by coalition government? You need to define the same, okay? Like before moving to this topic, I want your attention to one topic here. Okay, I want your attention to the topic that India. This is India. Okay, and we know that there are states in India and there are some union territories in India. Okay, did you get this point? Now, pay attention. When there was Britishers in India, okay, when there was Britishers in India, the boundaries were divided such that we have British province and we had British princely states. Okay. British provinces were directly under the control of Britishers, and princely states were indirectly under the control of Britishers. This is how India was administered at that time. Is it clear to you? Now, pay attention that when Britishers left India in the year 1947, okay, when Britishers left India in 1947, the major task of in front of Indians was to frame the provinces, or what we can call now states. Okay, I just told you the journey that by 1956 State Reorganization Commission formed 14 states and 6 union territories. Now get this point. Okay, after this many changes have came, and in year 2025 what we are now, there are 28 states and 8 union territories. Did you get this point? Get this point? Okay. If we would have adopted federalism, okay, which federalism? Coming together of federalism, the powers divided between center and different states would be equal. But we know that we have done what? We have done holding together of federalism, in which center is more power in comparison to states. Is it clear to you? But in this journey, we have seen that, okay, the powers are shared between what? Center and state. But in this, one more point is that some of the states are also given special status, and this is how some of the states are given special status. One state, you know that recently it is being scrapped off. However, Jammu and Kashmir had a special status. Okay, under Article 370. Okay, however, it has ended now, but there are still certain states under Article 371 which enjoy special status because of their cultural significance or geopolitical significance, in which we can refer, like Assam has a special status. Okay, Assam, Nagaland, Manipur and Mizoram. So this is it. Now, the story of states end here. Now, what is the need to make union territories is a question. And what are the union territories? What is the difference between state and UTs? Now, pay attention. There were certain areas in India. Okay, there were certain areas in India which are smaller to be considered as a state. Getting my point? Which are smaller to be considered as a state, and what we can say larger to be merged into a state. Getting my point? There are areas which are smaller to be considered a state and larger to be merged with a state. Along with this, there are other points, like we see that there are certain cultural significance of that region. Okay, maybe in a UT some tribal population is living, okay, which we need to keep protected. Hence, it is done. There are certain geopolitical reference. For an example, Delhi is a union territory. Why? Because of geopolitics. Or what we can see that Daman and Diu, the other Nagar Haveli, right? Or if we talk about Chandigarh, the political significance it has, right? If we talk about Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh, made as a union territory, converted to union territory from a state because of its diplomatic importance. So there are certain importance by which we have considered as UT. Now you might be wondering, ma'am, what is the difference between state and UT? State has its own government, right? State has its own government and the powers are shared between center and state. Get my point? However, union territories, okay, union territories come under the command of union government only, because they are referred as union territory. It's the territory of India. Okay, so they are basically, and officers are appointed here like lieutenant governors, lieutenant general, governors, etc. By president on the behalf of Indian government to administer these regions. However, there are certain UTs also which have governments like Delhi, special case over there, which was needed in politics. We should not go in that depth. I hope the things are clear to you. That is linguistic states, language policies and center-state relations. I have cleared it more with this slide. Let us move further when we have completed this. Now, we are talking in depth about the language policy because this is what you need to know. Do you know that in the census of 2011, there were more than 1,300 languages that people speak as their mother language. They considered it as their mother language, right? But what we have seen, there was dialect of some other language. For an example, if we talk about Bihari language, so it is dialect of Hindi itself, Avdi, okay? Again, dialect of Hindi. So after merging them, what we got was 121 major language, 121 major language. Out of this, 22 were recognized as scheduled languages. Out of them, 22 languages were referred as scheduled languages. This is the list of scheduled language here. Okay, I want every student of mine to know this because I know this is not going to come in exam, but being an Indian, we should be aware about that. And the second most important point, last year in your previous year question paper, you will see one MCQ from this topic. Okay, so if we want to be a topper, we cannot leave any topic that is given in your NCERT. However, it is important. So Assamese is spoken in Assam. You know that's Bengali in Bengal. Do you know where Bodo is spoken? It is in Bodo land. Okay, it is in Bodo land, basically Assam. Dogri is in Jammu Kashmir. Gujarati is in Gujarat. Hindi, you know, northern India. Karnataka here, Kannad. Kashmiri, we know that this is in Kashmir. Okay, Konkani, in the western belt of Goa. Maithili is in UP, Bihar, basically. UP, let us consider Maithili. Malayalam is in Kerala. Manipuri language, again it is Manipur, very easy thing which I am going to tell you. Now Nepali, see, look, Nepali is spoken in the states which have borders shared with it. Okay, so basically I can consider some people of UP, northern people. Maharashtra, Udia, Orissa. Okay, we know Punjab. Now, what is Sanskrit? NA. Not applicable because it's not spoken as a language. Rather, it is just learned. Sindhi people are widespread throughout India, so they speak that. Tamil, we know it's Tamil Nadu. Telugu, we know it's in Hyderabad. Okay, Urdu, okay. Widespread. Santhali. Now, where is Santhal? So, basically, it is in Chota Nagpur belt. Okay, Chota Nagpur plateau, that is including Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand, JK. Get my point? So this is the major scheduled languages of India. Keep in mind everything because a question can come like, which among the following language are not listed in the scheduled languages of India? Okay, English is not here, Hindi is here. So pay attention to my words. Moving further to the last topic of our chapter, that is decentralization of powers. Now, as I already told you, our Indian Constitution is a living document and it has changed itself on the requirement of population. Okay, so now what we have seen, that it was a vision of Mahatma Gandhi. Okay, it was mission of Mahatma Gandhi to have local self-government in India. Do you know that what we can say, this arrangement of local self-government is not new to India. Even the rulers, the great rulers, Chola rulers, right? After that in Delhi Sultanate, in Mughals, we have seen this arrangement that at local level there is a local government. okay, who administer its region by the involvement of local people. But when Indian Constitution was made in the year 1951, what we have adopted was two-tier of government. Okay, what we have adopted was two-tier of government that involved center as well as state. But in the year 1992, okay, but in the year 1992, we have added one more tier to the level of government. We have added one more tier to the level of government, and that is local government. That is local government. Now, the topic is totally related to this decentralization, we call it. Basically, now what is decentralization? Now we will see the reference of opposite word, centralization. Centralization means to hold the power in one unit. Okay, decentralization means to divide the power with different units. Get my point? So when power is taken from central government and state government and given to local government, this process is known as decentralization. Getting my point? What was the need of decentralization in the year 1992? There was large number of peoples that they were settled at local level. Okay, they were living at local level, villages, municipalities, okay, districts, towns, etc. They had their own issues. For an example, the street light of your area stopped working. Now, to get it repaired, you need to talk to the central government. Okay, the agent of central government, that is member of legislature, MLA. How it will be possible? Okay, the early solution to your grievances was not possible. So hence they thought that to solve the issues at the local level, we need a local government, because local people know very nicely what they need and how to solve their problems. So this is it. Large number of problems can be settled at local level. People have better knowledge for the problems of their localities. For an example, in your state, there is a MLA from your region. You know that the MLA is of a large region, large constituency. Will he be working effectively? Will he know that what is the problem in your locality? No. But if we have a mayor in that region, okay, he will work effectively because he is living there. Okay, so participation of people in the democracy also involved. What are the steps taken towards decentralization? I bet you, if you are reminding this answer, if you are just recalling this answer, okay, you will definitely get 5 marks. Because this is also one of the important question from your CBSE exam. For your CBSE example, just learn it thoroughly, okay, right now. So towards decentralization, what steps were taken? The first thing was to add this local government in our constitution, because to make it constitutionally mandatory for everyone to follow this, it should be written in the constitution. So now it is constitutionally mandatory to hold elections to local government bodies, but because now it is added to our constitution. Did you get the point? And do you know where it is added? It is added in the schedule of Indian Constitution, schedule number 11 and then 12. Okay, and it was done through a Constitutional Amendment Act. Okay, it was done through a Constitutional Amendment Act. I'm going to tell you. Now it is constitutionally mandatory to hold regular elections. Okay, seats will be reserved for scheduled tribe, scheduled caste and OBC. This was done here so that effectively everyone participates in this democracy. Very important, 1/3 of the seats, okay, 1/3 of the seats were reserved for women. 1/3 of the seats were reserved for women. This also resulted in a very positive way, because if we look at the data, okay, if we look at the data in Lok Sabha, it's merely 15% women's there. Okay, in the last Lok Sabha. If we talk about Legislative Council, the data is like so less, 5% from all the states where women are being as MLA. So to increase the involvement of women in politics, this was a very good step taken by our government, that 1/3 seats were reserved for women. Okay, now an independent institution, okay, independent institution called State Election Commission was created. Why a different election commission was created? I want to tell you that India has election commission which conducts the election of Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, state legislative assemblies, president and vice president. Get the point? But now what we have formed State Election Commission, because we know that this is a federal state. Every state will have its own local bodies. They will have its own structure of local bodies. It was very difficult for Election Commission to do that at the center level. And if Election Commission is doing that, we would call it a unitary structure, not federal structure. So we have created State Election Commission that will conduct election for local bodies. Get my point? Okay, and very important, how will this local bodies work if they have no money? So they were being allotted money by giving some powers to collect revenue. Okay, so 5 points. How India become decentralized? Yeah, what are the steps taken for decentralization? Point number 1. Elections made constitutional, seats reserved for ST, SC, OBC, 1/3 seats reserved for women, independent institution State Election Commission was formed, and powers to collect revenue was shared. Hope you are done with this answer. You have learned this answer, because we are going towards the end, and one of the favorite thing what we do in the end is having practice questions, because I want you to solve as many as possible. So I have added some clips of newspapers here. You can see the headlines. Democracy for sale in Tamil Nadu, highest bidders get panchayat post. See, right? Everything, if it has positive, it brings negatives alone. How people started like use of money in the elections. Highest bid, because what happened if you want to stand in election now, you will get ticket. So the people who have so much of money started buying that tickets. So we have seen certain non-transparency in democracy also. States oppose direct funding of panchayat. What happened now? For the working of states, for the working of local governments like panchayats and municipalities, states will be providing fund. Okay, so you can see here, over 1 million women elected to panchayat. See, this is a positive one. We can see that Indians were not in, women's were not seen in the politics, and as 1/3 seats were given here, the women's were seen elected. But we might have everyone, we have saw that panchayat web series right now. We know that women were standing on the position. However, all the official work were done by their husbands or brothers. They were just for namesake. Okay, however, things are changing so much. Women are also coming in forefront, but we have seen these problems as well, because there are many problems associated with local panchayats, and one among that is states deny funding to them. Okay, other thing that they do not have good infrastructure. There were certain panchayats in villages which do not even have a building where they can meet for Gram Sabha. They were sitting under the tree or etc. what we have seen in movies. Yes, this was realistic. Third one is that they do not have enough revenue. If they will not be having revenue, how will they work? Okay. Fourth, we have seen that the role of women was seen as a secondary person, because she was just treated as a way to get the seat, because seats were reserved for them, and many such corruption. Yes. So this we are learning for our understanding. So these were the problems associated with what? Local panchayats. Now I know that there are many students in my class right now who are not aware about the structure of local self-government, right? Do you know this? We have learned this in class 6 already, but we will also revise it, because if we are writing something about decentralization, if we are writing something about needs of decentralization, we should know what actually decentralization is. Okay, so you understood that decentralization is when powers are taken from central and state government and given to local government. Now what are local government? So basically we have divided local self-government into two parts. Okay, rural local government and urban local government. Now we can understand by the word rural and urban what is the difference between the same. There is a place which is less developed and has less population will be considered as rural, and urban contrary. Get my point? However, it is also divided further in proportion to its population. Like at the lowest level in this rural government, we have Gram Panchayat, right? Gram Panchayat at which level? Village level. Now, consider you are living in a village and that village has around 450 families. I am talking about families, not members, okay? You are living in a village with 450 families, right? There might be certain people who are aged, there might be people who are just child and working population, etc. So, the population which is 18 above, okay? 18 above, that means the population which is eligible for voting will be referred as Gram Sabha. It is referred as what, beta? It is referred as Gram Sabha. Okay. Now this Gram Sabha will do what? Like for an example, this is a village. Okay. In this village, this Gram Sabha will divide the village into constituencies. Example, constituency number 1, or we can call it ward number 1, ward number 2, ward number 3, 4, 5, etc. Okay, and one person will be elected from this area to administer it, the second will be elected from that. So basically this Gram Sabha appoint the Gram Panchayat or the members of Gram Panchayat. Get the point? So this Gram Sabha will elect the Gram Panchayat. Now we know that we have so many villages around us. So when these villages are grouped, it becomes block or tehsil. What does it becomes? Block or tehsil. Okay, and this is referred as block panchayat or mandal panchayat. Block panchayat or mandal panchayat. Now all these are grouped together and it becomes a district. What does it become? A district. Village, block, or district. Okay, but all these are rural, not urban. And the government here, the local government here will be known as Jilla Panchayat. What it is known as? Jilla Panchayat. Did you get this in mind? Okay. Moving to urban population. Okay. Now in urban, the lowest level of governance is municipal council. It is developed, but like what we can consider it developed as Bangalore. Okay, it is a small town which is developed and has more population in comparison to these areas. So this is known as municipal council. Known as municipal council. Okay, Nagar Panchayat. What we call it in Hindi is Nagar Panchayat. Okay, then it is municipality, Nagar Palika, and then municipal corporation, that is Nagar Nigam. And all this is on the basis of population. Like the head of this is known as mayor. The head of this is known as mayor. Okay, the head of this Gram Panchayat is known as Sarpanch. And the others are referred as chairpersons or presidents, etc. Did you get the structure of this local self-government? So this is division of local self-government which was added by 73rd and 74th Constitution Amendment Act in our Indian Constitution in the year 1992. Okay. Now coming to the most famous slide of mine, that is question bank, because beta, after reading such a big chapter, after listening to whole of my lecture, most important thing is that we should at least practice it. Nah? Like it should not be fair with us. It will not be fair with us if we are not practicing it. Question number 1, what are the dual objectives of federalism? You go to the slide, you will see in the slide number 2 or 3, I guess, dual objective written over there. Okay, let us discuss about it. Basically, to keep nation united, and second one is to accommodate diversity. 2 marker question which we can solve it in points. Okay, what are the features of federalism? 5 marker question. 6 points are given in this slide, in this PPT. You just need to revise them all. What was the main objective of constitutional amendment in the year 1992? Basically, we need to write the need. What was the objective? It was to bring a third tier of government. Okay, why decentralization favored in India? Identify 3 reasons. Very good question. 2 arrangement through which federalism, federation can be achieved. So we know that the 2 routes are holding together of federalism or coming together of federalism. Okay. 5 provisions of constitutional amendment. Just we have done this. We have done this just now, and we have seen that. I told you that this is very, very important slide. It will definitely come in CBSE. So the 5 provisions that was accepted after this amendment of 1992 in decentralization. Okay. What makes India a federal country? Very important. What makes India a federal country is the adoption of that list. Do not get confused. There are 2 questions. How federalism is practiced, that is different. What makes India a federal country? This is different. The list we have need to mention here. Describe in brief. Okay, they have asked you the language policy in detail. Explain the structure of new Panchayati Raj in both rural and urban area. This slide. The last slide we have discussed. Okay. Point out one feature of federalism that is similar to Belgium and one that is different in Belgium. So now this is the very, very important question. Like I'll always give you a gift question, a surprise question to solve when you will evaluate the chapter. Okay. Now the question is, let us see. Now the question is that there is a country, Belgium. Okay. And here it is India. Can I call both these countries as federal country? Can I call them? Yes. Because this is where we started our chapter, that in 1993, Belgium became, Belgium became what? Belgium became a federal country. But there is one similarity and one difference between the federal structure of Belgium and India, and we will talk about this. Okay. So the similarity between Belgium and India is that both have adopted a federal structure, right? How? Which type of similar in what context? Basically, both center government has shared powers with state government. Okay, here also center government has shared the power with what? State government. But one major difference is that we know that in India, central government is what? Central government is more powerful. But in Belgium, it is not so. Okay, central government and state government share equal powers. ठीक है. What we can call as a similarity is that both are formed as a result of holding together of federation, but the difference is such that, so I just hope that everything from this chapter is clear from my side. Now be connected with me, because now you have come to the last of this lecture. Okay, that clearly means that I am with you throughout your journey. You just need to be with me. You need to follow what I am guiding here. Practice questions at the last of my slide are very, very important. You please solve it. And in case you find any problem, you can write in the comment section. We are going to sort that out. And hopefully you're enjoying the videos. And if not yet subscribed the channel, go to Diksha Vedantu, subscribe it so that you will be notified whenever my next lecture is coming. And do you know we are going to talk about which next chapter? It is very, very interesting. That is nationalism in India. And I swear I want to make you feel that nationalism in India when we are reading the chapter. So thank you for being the part of it. Subscribe to YouTube channel and be in contact. Thank you.